Listen, before some of you come in with pitchforks, just hear me out. Netflix's Daredevil is my favorite TV show of all time. It introduced me to one of my favorite characters ever and is, in my opinion, the single best comic book adaptation to date. No other movie or show has been able to capture the spirit of the character they're adapting quite like Daredevil did. Whether it was Charlie Cox's incredible performance or the gorgeous cinematography, the show was firing on all cylinders. Even with the restraints that came from being on Netflix, the creatives behind the show managed to deliver an emotional and thought-provoking superhero series that raised the bar to an almost unreachable height. But in the 6 years, oh my god, I hate time, since the series was cancelled, things have drastically changed. Daredevil has been saved and fully integrated into the MCU alongside Kingpin. If their appearances in No Way Home, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and Echo weren't enough, Marvel themselves has recently confirmed that all the Netflix shows are canon to the official timeline. And while a lot of people are rightfully happy about this, there's fear among others that the MCU will quote-unquote ruin Daredevil.
Go to hell.
But that couldn't be further from the truth. Daredevil needs the MCU. If there's one major complaint I had about Netflix's entire Defenders universe, it's that they were embarrassed by how flashy the source material could be. The only times we ever saw comic-accurate costumes were when the characters were making fun of them.
You look like a damn fool.
Now, I don't hate the Netflix suit as some people on Twitter do. It fits the tone of the universe perfectly. But I am willing to do unspeakable things just to see Charlie in that bright red costume with the double D's on it. In a heightened universe like the MCU that has fully embraced the absurdity of comics with bright and colorful costumes, we'd finally be able to see an accurate suit for Daredevil. She-Hulk gave us a tease at that with the recolored yellow suit, which looks great by the way, but I fully expect Born Again to finally bring his suit into live action properly. I've seen some people frustrated about the Netflix suit appearing in Echo or the recolor in She-Hulk because they just don't like that design, but I'm perfectly fine with it and happy with it because Daredevil just got back into the MCU. The character's back in full form, and to let people know it is the Netflix version, they have to establish that link, and the suit is that. You see in the flashback in Echo, he's wearing almost exactly the same suit from Season 2 of Daredevil, and in She-Hulk he has the recolor, which they establish as a new suit, but they do this to create that link. He's not going to show up in his brand new suit because it could just confuse audiences on if it's the same Daredevil or not. So I assume in Born Again, when the spotlight is all his and it's his time to shine, we're finally going to get to see that comic-accurate suit I have been begging to see for years. Hopefully we get something like Chichetto's version from the comics, but I just couldn't be more excited to see Daredevil and his Rogues Gallery look exactly like they're supposed to for once. Now, speaking of She-Hulk and Echo, in those brief appearances for Daredevil, we've already gotten a taste of this, but in the MCU, Daredevil needs to be acrobatic. In the Netflix show, he's parkouring all around the city, but I want to see him doing flips that shouldn't even be humanly possible. Besides this superhuman senses, the coolest part about Daredevil is that he's literally just a guy. He's not bulletproof or shooting big CGI beams out of his forehead. He's just a dude with a stick who can do some sick flips. The boxer fighting style paired with his agility makes him hard to hit and hit like a truck, and should be really exciting to watch. Seeing him effortlessly leap off of buildings in She-Hulk should be the standard. It's what I've wanted to see the character do for years, and in a universe like the MCU, it could finally become a reality. He's still the same character from the show, but just moving the way his comic counterpart always has. Netflix didn't have the budget to go all out with his acrobatics, which I understand. They showed it when they could, but the parkour in that series wasn't exactly what Daredevil is known for. He's known for these superhuman movements and dodges and really putting his agility on display for all to see. And now that he's in the MCU, they'll finally have the budget and resources they need to make Daredevil move like he should. I just want to see him flipping around and hitting people as hard as possible. Is that too much to ask? Part of what makes Daredevil such an interesting character is who Matt Murdock is as a person. For better or for worse, he's especially stubborn in his beliefs and moral compass. It's always fascinating seeing how he interacts with other characters depending on if they agree with him or not. We saw how effective this was in Season 2 when he and Punisher came head to head, and getting more of that would be a blessing. As Marvel's quintessential street-level hero, he just makes the world feel more alive, and having him meet other characters can help showcase just how much depth he has as a person. With rumors of him appearing in Spider-Man 4, I can't help but get excited at the thought of these two working together. I lay awake at night just dreaming of the possibilities of seeing them take down the Kingpin, which, it's probably bad for my health, but I don't think that's important right now. Daredevil was locked away from the rest of the MCU for years, and now that he's finally allowed to play in that sandbox, the possibilities are endless. Also, I just want to address the people that think the MCU will ruin Daredevil, because I couldn't disagree more. Echo has shown us that they're willing to deal with more mature themes and violence, and with Born Again also being a Spotlight series, it's going to get that same love and care put into it. Hell, they even got the same showrunner as Punisher Season 1, which should tell you that the show is going to be in good hands. And if you think his appearance in She-Hulk was out of character, it tells me you've never read a Daredevil comic in your life. Matt Murdock at his core is a guilty Catholic who isn't afraid to get cocky and taunt his opponents, and I cannot stress this enough, he is an extremely horny man, to sometimes his own fault. She-Hulk gave us the most accurate take on the character to date. He's more acrobatic than ever, he's serious when he needs to be but happy to crack a joke, and he's uncontrollably horny, flirting with Jen the moment he can. If he's anything like his appearance in She-Hulk in Born Again, the series is going to be an absolute win. If you don't believe me, just go read Mark Waid's run on the character. It's my favorite Daredevil comic to date. It's the quintessential story where Daredevil is lighthearted as Matt is trying to put his dark days behind him and put on a happy face, and it's really good. And from what I've seen, Daredevil Born Again looks like it's going to be taking a lot from this series, which is a great sign. And for the people caught up on Matt joking, it's not a big deal and something he often does in the comics. Obviously, there's a balance with it where he shouldn't be doing it all the time. He's not Spider-Man, but he definitely does it. This is something that even Charlie's been pushing for too. It's beyond time for Daredevil to lighten up as a character. Season 3 left him off in a good mental state for once too, so of course he's going to be happier the next time we see him. Even his short cameo in Echo was a great indicator of how the MCU would handle him. Seeing Daredevil from Maya's point of view was terrifying and reinforces why criminals fear him. On top of all that, we got a fantastic one-take fight scene reminiscent of the Netflix series that showed Marvel knows what fans want to see the character doing. All that being said, the MCU can learn a lot from the Netflix series and apply those lessons not just to Born Again, but to the rest of their shows. I don't think there's a single superhero project that looks better than Daredevil. That neon-soaked cinematography is breathtaking, and I hope to see that aesthetic carried over along with that level of fight choreography. The hand-to-hand combat in this series is amazing and only got better with each season, so I really hope that the MCU keeps going and delivers on the hard-hitting, brutal action the character is known for, now just with more flips. But the biggest takeaway above all else is that Karen, and especially Foggy, are incredibly important in making a Daredevil show work. So where are they, Kevin? What have you done with my avocados at law? Born Again's getting a rewrite and filming now, so it's the perfect time to put them back in the show. And don't you dare even think about killing them off again, or so help me God, I will end. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened just there, but oh, they're gonna be in the show? And Bullseye? Oh my god. Okay, yeah, this is peak. Guys, this is gonna be a peak show. We won. We are so back. But back to my point. Daredevil is a masterpiece of a series and the best version of that show we could have gotten. I love everything about it so much, I still rewatch it once a year. But now that he's in the MCU, there's an opportunity to make things even better. We could get the most comic-accurate version of the character to date, operating in a fully realized superhero universe. Daredevil is one of Marvel's best characters, and I only want to see the best for him. And it seems like Marvel Studios does too, as what we've gotten so far has been amazing. The way his character was shown in She-Hulk is exactly what I've been wanting to see for years, and Echo showcased just how brutal the character can be. The changes being made to Born Again show me that his future is looking brighter than ever. Daredevil is here to stay in the MCU, and not
even God can stop that now.